Damn, that was cool. I gotta say, throughout playing the game, I was like hit or miss with it. Beginning of it felt very good, and then it started doing the backtracking thing. I think the part that really bothered me was when I was in that ice cave area, and you had to backtrack through there, and it was so confusing with the holocron and everything. I was like, dude, just teleport me back to the ship. Like, I don't care about walking back all this way, you know? Like, that was probably the worst part of it for me. You got lost too? Yeah, it was just a real pain in the ass to get through that section, right? And then, like, overall, you start realizing a lot of this game is just, it feels padded from making you go backwards by walking back. Like, you gotta walk all this way there to do your objective. Yeah, I made it. And now you gotta walk all the way back and there's new bad guys randomly along the way. You know, it's like, it's not that interesting to do it that way a lot of times. But I will say that the cinematic storytelling I really enjoyed. You know, like, it's up there with Uncharted for me. Except the Star Wars universe, which I think is super cool. Like, I love the Uncharted series, and so having that kind of gameplay and storytelling here in the Star Wars universe is pretty rare, you know? So that's a very, very cool thing. I can see why everyone loves this game. You know, the combat system was pretty cool, pretty deep too. I didn't expect all that from it. It's got a little bit of God of War in there, you know, with how you can learn the different abilities and stack them up essentially over time. I like that part of it too. That was neat. The music was cool. No complaints there except for that one scene we had today where it dropped out for no reason. You know, that happens though. Enemy variety and stuff, like, that part was, I think, just okay. There weren't any enemies that were like really standouts to me. But I guess if I think about all the different types of stormtroopers, I guess that's the problem with Star Wars universe, right? Like, you have all the different types of stormtroopers and they made it as interesting as they could have, really. So I can't really fault them too much on that front. Hopefully the sequel adds more cosmetics, not just ponchos. Yeah, that was definitely one of the downsides. I never liked any of the outfits that Cal was wearing. But even still, you know, you got to customize the ship as well and the BD-1. So that was pretty neat. Yeah, the bounty hunters, all that stuff was pretty neat. Like, there were actually some pretty good enemies overall. I feel like when I think of this game, though, I think of like more different planets. You could have different enemies. Like, there was that one planet that had the spiders on it and stuff. That was pretty cool. Using BD-1 to slice or to change things was pretty neat. The puzzles in the game were fun. There were some challenging puzzles. That was a really good Uncharted kind of feel too. Yeah, I really like this game, I think. I didn't really think about it until I started talking back and remembering about everything. Like, my biggest con by far, easily, is just the backtracking, right? Outside of the backtracking, though, I think everything else is great. So this is like an easy 9 out of 10 game for me. Like, beginning to end, 9 out of 10. So if you guys like Souls kind of games, if you like Uncharted kind of games, and you like Star Wars universe, like, you have to play this game. You have no excuse. And I gotta say, the ending, in case someone is watching this review on YouTube without spoilers somehow, and they still haven't played the game themselves, the ending was awesome. Like, I did not expect it to be as cool as it was, right? Like, you get the Trilla fight, and when the Trilla fight was happening right now, I thought, okay, this is a very difficult boss compared to the rest of the game. But I didn't expect everything else to happen, and the everything else part of it was way better than I expected to happen. So I'm very happy with the ending of this game. And yeah, the sequel's coming up now in, like, I think a year or less. So it's not even that far away, right? Backtracking in the map would definitely downside of the game. Could have benefited from a fast travel mechanic, definitely. Yeah. Like, you know, Elden Ring's fast travel from Graces or to Graces when you're not in combat. Something like that would have been really helpful here, but I can see why they wouldn't let you do that because of how they structure your return back, you know? They structure your backtrack with new enemies in the way and everything, you know? So, yeah, it's pretty cool. Like, it took me a while to get done with this because I had, like, you know, I traveled to Thailand and Vietnam and everything, but I'm glad that I came back and did actually finish it. This was a fun little stream. But yeah, I think if I think about it, like, music, Star Wars music, you know, it's an easy 8 out of 10, like, maybe 8.5 out of 10. The combat systems and everything, plus the unlockables along the way, 9.5, I would say. Like, it's pretty hard to get better combat than that. It was a little bit easier at times than it could have been, whatever, but overall, I'm not going to be upset at it. So I think a 9 out of 5 for the combat. Graphics, really impressive, right? I didn't expect it to look this good so many years later. Like, I had been waiting to play this game for a couple of years, and the graphics were amazing. Like, still, to this day, right? So the graphics have held up perfect. It looks better than most games I play nowadays. So graphics, I'll give it 9.5 out of 10. It's not up there with like modern day stuff anymore, but it's still super duper good. Then you got the storytelling, 10 out of 10, I think. I think the storytelling is very good. I love that they got like all of the little text descriptions too, so if you do forget where you're at, you can kind of catch up in the overall story, or you can do all the little like those echoes you find, plus the other stuff you can find. Like, there's a ton of lore if you want to dig into it, right? And I think there's a lot of people who are Star Wars fans who would want to do that, so I read a lot of it, actually, more than I expected to. And they're not like, you know, in Doom Eternal when they do it, it's really long. Like, you pull one up and you're reading, like, you know, 5 paragraphs. You're like, oh, I don't care anymore by the end of the game. Even though those were also interesting. But these ones were short, you know, they're like 2 paragraphs max sort of deal. And, yeah, I don't know. That's it, man. This game, easy 9 out of 10. That's what I think. That's my review. The review for Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Shoutouts to Respawn, man. Good stuff.